Hey everyone, Andrew back again and welcome to another video. And it's Saturday, so I'm back with another slasher review as part of the Slashback Slasher Challenge series. And this is a bit of a special week because this is the grand finale. It's the final Slashback Challenge week for 2019. What a year it's been. Before we get into my review, I'm wanting to give a mention and a thank you to Joe, a rather big one, for coming up with this challenge. Joe, it's just been an absolutely fantastic year. It's definitely revived the horror community, I think, and it's definitely brought a lot of nostalgia back to me because Joe and me go way back within the horror community, and honestly, this is what it used to be like. Everyone getting involved and participating in challenges and videos like this. So, Joe, I think you've done a absolutely phenomenal job. Not only have you got people together, but week after week you've come up with different themes. And yeah, I've had a great time and I'm sure I'm not alone. I think what you've done here is nothing short of amazing. So thank you for creating this awesome challenge. I've had an absolute blast. And I'm really glad that a handful of people consistently week after week have been behind you. So yeah, Joe, thank you so much, and I'm really glad that you have decided to continue on with this next year with Slashback Challenge, the sequel. I cannot wait, and I definitely intend to participate with that one too. Anyway, with that being said, I will get on with my review now. So, Joe once again has come up with another pretty awesome theme to round off the year, and that the theme is Slashback Slashers. So Joe wanted us to review a slasher movie that someone else reviewed over the course of this challenge. So this took a little bit of homework for me. I went back and checked out a few people's playlists and yeah, had a quick look at what other people have been reviewing over the course of the year because I have forgotten what some people have reviewed. And yeah, it was a tough one because I wanted to watch a slasher movie that I'd never seen before. And a lot of you guys have been reviewing slashers that not only have I never heard of before, but I don't personally own. So this took a little bit of work to do, but I was more than happy to do so because the theme is fantastic, I reckon. And I'm really wanting to dedicate this last Slashback Challenge video of the year to one person in particular who's been a pretty big inspiration in terms of me reviewing movies. I've reviewed movies off and on this channel, and I still think I'm a little bit iffy when it comes to reviews. I don't think I'm the greatest reviewer, but I like reviewing movies. And yeah, J Super Awesome has been a massive inspiration in terms of me trying to improve on reviewing horror films. For me personally, I absolutely love Jack's reviews, and in my opinion, he's one of the best horror movie reviewers out there. He's always pretty thorough, pretty concise with his reviews, and he's got really good taste in movies. He covers the movies really well without giving too much away. He has a really good balance on that. And yeah, not only that, but he has a phenomenal channel, and yeah, I consider him to be a pretty good friend of mine on here. So Jack, this video is for you, buddy. And with that being said, I'm going to be reviewing Visiting Hours. So I only own this double feature from Scream Factory with Bad Dreams and Visiting Hours. So just so you can see the Visiting Hours artwork a lot better, because it is a pretty awesome one, I'll be inserting a picture alongside me of the poster art. So Jack actually reviewed this for week 35, I believe it was, and that was cover art slashers. So he chose this for that week's theme, and I agree. The cover on this is really awesome with the skull on the hospital building. I think it's really cool. So yeah, this had been one that I'd never seen before, and I've owned it for quite a while. Like a lot of movies, I buy and buy, and a lot of movies just tend to sit on my shelves. But yeah, it was about time I checked this one out. And this one, the plot behind this one is it focuses on a reporter called Deborah, and she basically is a feminist. So she's really trying to push for women's rights, especially when it comes to violence against women. And basically there is someone that works within the studio, a janitor, a cleaner, by the name of Colt, and he gets very, very annoyed with this. He has a strong hatred towards women, he abuses women, and of course he targets this particular person after she's pretty much given her opinions on the whole situation. So that's essentially the plot. It's basically about Colt targeting Deborah throughout the rest of the movie, and the majority of the film does take place in the hospital. So yeah, now we'll move on to my thoughts on this one. So as I've already said, I'd never seen this one before, and it was a little bit different than I was expecting, but overall by the end of the film I really, really enjoyed this one. I thought this one was fantastic, especially in terms of a storyline. This one was very, very story driven, and the characters also gave phenomenal performances, especially for a slasher film. So we'll talk a little bit about the location first. So this one had a variety of locations, and I really, really liked that about it. So the film kind of started off in a studio with Deborah talking a little bit about her opinions on domestic violence and women's rights and stuff like that. And yeah, that was a really, really cool setting. And then of course the majority of the rest of the film took place in the hospital, and I like hospital settings. I think they're a pretty good setting for a horror film. Large building often gives a pretty isolated feel to it, and it certainly did within this movie. A lot of the scenes within the hospital definitely reminded me a lot of Halloween 2, which was cool because I'm a big fan of that movie. But yeah, the hospital setting worked really, really well. Now we'll move on to the characters. The characters are definitely what makes this movie. Deborah, as essentially the main character in this one, she was phenomenal. I've mentioned this several times before, but I like it when there's a really, really strong and smart female lead in a horror film, because often females get dubbed as a pretty stupid characters. But Deborah was extremely strong from start to finish, and her performance was absolutely phenomenal. Michael Ironside as Colt has got to be one of my favourite new killers. Now, he didn't wear a mask or anything, and you knew exactly who the killer was right from the get-go, but that wasn't an issue for me, and he definitely gave off a Frank Zito vibe from the movie Maniac, and in a lot of ways this is pretty similar to Maniac, because this sort of is a character study essentially of this psychotic killer, Colt. And Michael Ironside's performance was absolutely phenomenal in this. Very, very realistic, extremely believable, and he was just pure evil. He was an absolutely psychopath, and yeah, what can I say? His performance was just absolutely fantastic. The other thing that I really liked about his performance too is, and it made it even more realistic and believable, is the fact that it took him numerous attempts to try and kill off Deborah. So I really, really liked that. It definitely had a pretty genuine and realistic vibe to probably what something would happen in this sort of situation. So I really, really liked that. He didn't just get to her straight away. It took several attempts throughout the film. So I really, really liked that about the movie as well. The movie, it sort of starts off a little bit slow, and at first I wasn't really too sure whether I would fully get into it or not. But once the story picks up, the pacing is really, really good. And yeah, the storyline was really, really interesting in this one. There's a lack of gore in this. There's not an overly high body count in this one. This is definitely more of a character and story-driven slasher than just a typical slasher where there's a high body count with a lot of gory kills. This isn't really that type of slasher, but I really appreciated it for that, honestly, once I got more into the story and got invested more into the characters. So all in all, this is a different type of slasher to a typical full-on gore fest, but from a story and character standpoint, this movie I thought was absolutely exceptional. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I thought it was really well executed and pretty ahead of its time as well, for the subject matters of domestic violence and women's rights. I don't really remember much of that being touched upon during the 80s, so yeah, that was a pretty cool theme to have explored within this movie as well. So yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed this one a lot, and I would definitely highly recommend it. So Jack, we had similar thoughts to this movie. I know you're a big fan of it as well, so thank you for uploading your review and for finally getting me around to checking visiting hours out, because yeah, I really enjoyed this one a lot. So there you go, guys, that is it. That is the final Slashback review for 2019. Once again, thank you to Joe for creating this challenge. It's been an absolute blast, and I'll be leaving a link to his channel in the description box below. I'm sure most of you already know who he is. And I'll be doing the same for Jack, J Super Awesome. So his link to his channel will also be left in the description box below. And before I go, I just want to thank everyone that's been consistently viewing and commenting on my Slashback reviews over the course of the past year. It definitely means a lot. I've been getting a lot of good feedback, and yeah, thank you so much for everyone that's took the time out to comment and watch my videos every Saturday. It definitely means a lot. So yeah, I will definitely be continuing on with the challenge in 2020. I'm really looking forward to it. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed this review, and thank you for watching.